Hey, what is up, everybody? Reubin here. My name's Reubin, and welcome back to Interactive Horror Stories. Now, the last three videos, we have basically covered the first three stories. The doll, after funeral, crystal skull. The doll and the crystal skull were pretty good. After funeral, not one of my favorites, but it was still decent. So today we're going to be moving on to the fourth story over here, which is Evil Beneath the Ground. So once again, a little bit of a backstory to it. You are a goth university student with no friends. You join a school trip to a lake and the forest near it. If you decide to wander in the forest at night, you will find bare footprints. Those are coming from a black hole with a ladder. Will you descend down? Okay, so this actually sounds like it could be interesting. So we're going to jump in and once again and see if we can make the right decision or if we're going to end up making the wrong decisions like we've done with the last three stories. But let's jump in and have a look. So, Evil Beneath the Ground. So, you are a young university student who identifies as goth. You are a lonely person. People think that you want to be alone, but in fact, you couldn't find someone you felt affinity. Someone you felt affinity with, okay? Everyone is so distant from you. Nobody you know listens to the music that you love, like Baus, this Mortal Coil, the Sister of Mercy, etc. You heard about a university field trip to a lake and the forest around it in autumn. There would be a picnic, also alcohol is permitted, you could bring your own drinks. You join the field trip, not only maybe you could make some new friends, but also because you love nature, especially when it's a cold season. But of course, you couldn't find any new friends once again. During the 2 hours of bus travel, you found out that every other student who joined the trips were already friends. They simply ignored you. You also didn't approach them. As a result, all you could do during the bus trip was look outside the window or play games on your phone while you listened to their joyful laughter. You have mixed feelings about this picnic by the lake. You can't feel yourself as part of the joyful youth who are enjoying the nature trip. But after having a picnic barbecue, they played a game with a ball in which they formed a circle and tried not to let the ball touch the ground. Basically the same as hacky sack. So everyone participated in this game except for you. But you enjoy the nature trip somehow. As said before, you love the nature. You took pictures of the lake with your phone. You don't plan to post the pictures anyway though. And there is a huge forest near the picnic area. You have always found a peace in the green of the forests. After the sun set, people began to light up a campfire and drink. People around your age generally prefer beer, but you don't like it. You feel it overfills your stomach and causes nausea after 2 cans. Instead, you prefer stronger drinks. Today, you brought a bottle of red wine and wine glasses. They gathered around the campfire while you drank your wine alone away from them. A handsome guy brought this guitar from the bus and began playing it around the fire. While you have finished your second glass of wine, that doesn't make sense. Began playing it around the campfire while you finished your second glass of wine, okay? Campfire and moon illuminate the darkness. The sun already has set. There are about 5 hours for the picnic to end. You will be going back to the city with buses. He is playing a calming song. You might join the group, but you also feel a strong urge to have a walk in the dark forest. Well, I've already felt like an outcast. I've already felt very outside and nobody's really been interacting with me. So am I simply going to be wasting my time going to sit with a group and listen to them play music and drink? Or am I going to do what I enjoy because I love nature? So we're going to go to the forest. You stand up and wander away from the picnic. You feel the core of the dark forest. So you walk along the path into the forest. The trees are high and still green. Maybe they stay green all seasons. You don't know. Your field is not biology. The soil is wet and muddy. It must have rained before your group arrived at the lake. You leave boot prints on the soil as you walk. There are no clouds in the sky. A full moon and stars illuminate the forest. But that's not enough for your eyes. You turn on the flashlight on your phone. There is an app for that too. You can't clearly see but notice rabbits in the distance. Naturally, they run away from you as they notice your presence. You begin to think that you might have gone too far away from the picnic, but there is nothing interesting in the picnic area. You somehow feel like the darkness of the forest is your friend. Only friend. So once again, we are going to continue on the path. You continue on the forest path, and after a few minutes you notice footprints on the soil. They seem to belong to a human with bare big feet, probably a man. The prints cross the path. Turn back to the picnic site, follow his route back. Okay, so go back to the picnic site. Obviously, that'll just take us back, and then we'll probably end up going back to the city, and I can only imagine that would be the end of the story. But the next two are the interesting decisions. Follow the tracks in the direction, obviously, that the feet are pointing, or follow his route back, so obviously where they came from. Which would I rather want to do? I'm not a fan of people, from what I'm guessing in the story. So why would I follow somebody that could quite literally just be another person that's barefooted in the wilderness? And obviously that should scream alarm bells, and just don't do that. But also following his route back, where's that going to go? Is it going to take it to this person's house? Is it going to take it to a bloody murder scene? I just don't know. So I'm actually going to go with, let's follow him. Obviously that's what the story seems to be around, so let's follow those footprints. You follow the footprints on the swell. They keep changing direction. You find yourself in an elevation and the prints stop there. Whoever was walking, he didn't leave any prints, those you could follow anymore, at least. He might have gone anywhere, so he didn't follow a single direction. Turn back to the picnic site, follow his route back. Okay, so we're going to follow the route back to obviously where he came from. So following the direction that the feet were going was pointless. It didn't lead anywhere. So you decide to go to the place where it came from. After a long walk, you find yourself at a hole. There is a lid and a long rope near it. The man clearly comes from the hole. His footprints prove it. When you hold your phone's light into the black hole, you see that there is a ladder inside the hole. You can't see the end of the hole from your position. As a curious and drunk boy, you feel a strong urge to descend. So obviously we are going to descend. As you need to use both hands to climb down, you put your phone in your jean pockets. Turning off the light, you start climbing down. After a few seconds, moon and stars above no longer illuminate what you see. You are in pitch black and the ladder still continues. Finally, your feet touch the ground. You are so distant from the forest that you can't see the entrance of the hole from where you are. You carefully get on your 2 feet. You can see nothing in front of you yet, so you turn on the phone's light. The place where you are is made of concrete. There is a long corridor in front of you. It is narrow, about 1 meter wide. It is not very high. There are only a few centimeters between your head and the ceiling of the corridor. You smell a terrible odor. It's the mixture of feces and something you can't understand. There are 3 doorless holes along the concrete corridor, making 3 rooms to discover. So first, second, or third. Which room are we going to go into? I suppose it's simply going to be a process of elimination. So let's examine the first room. There is an empty wooden coffin. A mirror hangs on the concrete wall. A bloody razor and black whip stand at the front of the mirror. In the mirror, you see your reflection and the terror on your face. Okay, so once again, we are back where the rooms are. So we went into the first room, let's try out the second room. You are shocked to find a chained woman in this room. The chain is tied on her ankle. She looks to be in her 40s, too weak, her bones are noticeable, and has a pale skin with lots of scars. She's on her knees, she is naked, her body is lightly hairy, except for her pubic area. It is quite hairy. Pointless information, but okay, suppose it goes to the story. Contrasting her hairy body, her head is shaved. She stinks. Not only the smell of feces, but also it looks like she wasn't washed for years. She screams as you point the light to her. Who are you? Try to save her. Run to the ladders. Run to the ladders, I don't think I would do. I think I'd either try and help her or try and find out who she is and what she's doing there. But then obviously you don't know how long it's going to be before whoever left those footprints comes back. And if they come back and you're still there, it's probably not going to bode well for you. So let's try and save her. You crouch down to her tight foot. There is no way you can remove the bracelet from her ankle. You also notice that her pinky toe is missing. Let me try and find the key. What happened to your toe, first of all? He made me eat it. Holy shit, okay. You try to leave the room, but something you don't understand happens. At the exit of a room, you hit something that wasn't visible in front of you. Yes, you saw nothing in front of you, yet you hit something. You fall onto the floor and an invisible force carries you and repeatedly smashes your head to the wall. You hear the woman screaming as you black out. When you wake up, you find yourself lying on the concrete floor in pitch darkness. By the smell, you understand that you are in the same place. Whoever is keeping you captive, he has stripped you from all of your clothes. You are naked and cold. There is a gag in your mouth. You can't shout and communicate with the woman. She might be gagged too. You stand up and try to walk away, but your ankle is tied with a chain. You can walk only in a chamber with 1 meter of radius. Your foot touches a metal bucket. It's probably where he expects you to defecate. You lose all your senses of time here. You wait for an unmeasurable time of something to happen. You are thirsty and hungry. Sometimes you hear your phone rings. It is in a different room. The piano melody It's the Fear by Within Temptation, an ironic name for your situation. They probably noticed that you are missing and tried to reach you, especially your parents. They must have become mad. Of course, you can't answer the call. Finally, you hear footsteps. You hear your captor coming to your room. You are unable to see anything. He takes your gag off, and apparently he has no problem with seeing in the pitch black, and you hear his voice. Drink. It belongs to an old man, a dominant, ordering voice. You feel the tip of a bucket on your lips. Who are you, or drink? Suppose it's not going to be a good thing to try and have a conversation with this guy and try and find out who the fuck he actually is and why he's got me down here. But obviously I don't just want to drink whatever he's putting in my mouth. So who are you? I am your new master. You better behave well. You are mine now, or I won't give you it again. Drink. It is water he is offering. You drink it, not the best water you drank. It could be taken from the lake, but you have no other choice, it seems. After you drink enough, he puts the bucket on the ground. Now he brings something else into your lips. Eat. You are too hungry to refuse him. You allow him to put something in your mouth. It's meat, but raw. You would never eat raw meat, except for sushi, but now you chew it slowly. It is rabbit, he says. You swallow the meat despite how much it disgusts you. After you eat all he gives you, he puts the gag on your mouth and leaves the room without saying another word. After a while he comes back as you were lying on the floor. Stand up, he orders you. You get on your 2 feet clumsily. He grabs your body and you feel 2 sharp fangs on your neck. He starts draining your blood, and you understand the true nature of your captor. You have no idea how long you have been a prisoner here. You are mostly alone in the room, doing nothing with the gag in your mouth. He occasionally comes back to feed you, and himself. Sometimes you hear loud sounds from the other room. He tortures the woman. She screams and begs him to stop, but he doesn't. You hear a whip hit the naked flesh of the woman, but for some reason he doesn't harm you, only the woman. You haven't seen anything for a long time. You have no idea what he looks like. Sometimes you hear sobbing, but it doesn't belong to the woman, to the captor. He cries loudly for some reason. Some day or night you can't figure out. He shows up and takes your gag off. I have done research about you, learned everything about you. He says your name, shocking you. You have some common points. We have some common points. We both like the dark. We are both outcasts, lonely souls in the world of darkness. I will make you an offer, only once, so make your decision wisely. I can make you immortal like myself. You will no longer be in chains. You will have a life or unlife in the dark, like you have always wanted. Or you can stay as mortal and wait for the day you will die here as my prisoner. Okay, in a situation like this, obviously you don't want to die, and the confines of where you are staying is hell. You are chained into a room, you're being forced raw meat, you're drinking water that's probably from a dirty lake, and this guy is feeding on you on a daily basis. So if that is my only option, and obviously if I don't take it I am going to die in here, of course me taking that I want to be immortal is going to be the obvious option. Very well, he says. Stand up. You stand up and allow your master to embrace you. You feel his fangs on your neck once again, but this time he doesn't stop. You feel your whole body is getting drained. Soon you lose consciousness. You open your eyes. You find yourself lying in a wooden coffin, but this time you are able to see. There isn't any single light source in the concrete room, but you see the environment as if you were wearing a night vision goggle. You're wearing your old clothes and also gloves, so you can't see your skin. You have lost your hair, it has shed. Your old hair is on the coffin's part where you put your head on, and you feel your face change too. But the most significant change is an unbearable thirst, but not for water. Welcome to a new start, my child. You hear his voice, you look around the room, but you can't see him. There are 2 coffins and a mirror in the room. They think that our kind can't be seen in the mirror. False. Take a look at yourself. You step outside the coffin and walk to the mirror. You are in terror with what you see in the mirror. You don't carry a human face anymore. Your skin has scales like a snake. Its color is light gray, almost white. Your ears are long and have pointed tips. Your eyes are all red. You slowly open your mouth to see your sharp teeth. You scream, break down and cry in despair. Then you feel his hands, claw to be exact, on your shoulder. He stands on your back. Okay, that's weird. Now you are able to see his hand. It is scaled like your skin. Look at me, he orders. And for some reason you can't disobey your master. You involuntarily look in the mirror to see the immortal entity behind you. His body is tall, naked, and has a humpback. His skin is almost white and scaled, but his face, it is the ugliest thing you have ever seen. It's the embodiment of evil, torture, murder, rape, and envy. Envy for everything that is pretty and fair. I will teach you everything I know. Your new and only now parent says with a hideous smile. The end. This game also has 3 endings. Okay, so this one could actually be the monster that we're seeing at the screen right now. Looking like scaly skin, we're seeing the sharp teeth. So this one I can only imagine is a vampire or some form of a vampire, more specifically the Nosferatu. If any kind of information like that, they're supposed to be the ugliest of vampires. But in any case, so in this situation it looks like you're goth, nobody gets you, nobody understands you, you're unhappy with your life, you're unhappy with your school, you're alone basically, and you enjoy being alone and being in the dark. And obviously the nature and the forests, you love nature. So you go on this field trip and you end up following these footprints down into a hole, and then somehow you end up getting trapped in that hole as well. Now something obviously, this guy or this thing obviously keeps on feeding on yourself, so you eventually find out what it is, and then he makes you one offer to turn you. So obviously you take the offer because, well, you don't want to die down there, and then find out exactly what yourself and he has become. Now I don't know what the different outcomes in that story could have possibly been. One could have simply been that you simply go back to the campsite and you relax there for the rest of the night, or possibly that you go back to the campsite and this thing attacks and all of you end up getting killed. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to find out. If you guys want to find out the rest of the possible endings or follow any of these other stories, by all means, the game is free. You can download it yourself. The link for the game will be in the description below. But I actually enjoyed that one. It gave a lot of emphasis on the story. It gave a lot of information about what was going on, very descriptive of your surroundings and what it is that is happening to you. I wish they just explained a little bit more about why the person beats myself and not, beats the girl and not myself. Or is that simply, as he says, because he's done a lot of research on me and I enjoy the dark like he does? It is not clear, but the story, once again, I think, if I had to be honest, this story so far is my favorite out of the 4 that we have covered so far. Obviously, we still got Crystal Skull 2 and Madness in an Infinite Loop left to cover. But I really do hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. But obviously, until then, cheers.